Hello, dear friends, how are you? Spirituality, that is something which almost everybody want to know. Spirituality. There are religious people who are of the view that religious practices can make us a spiritual person and can help us a lot develop the spirituality in us. We can attain spiritual powers by being more religious, by being a practicing religious person. But non religious people believe that it has little to do with the religion, and even the non religious people can achieve the spirituality, can learn to be a more spiritual person. Somehow, spirituality matters. As we, the humans, we need to know a lot about the physical, mental, emotional, and of course the spiritual power or the spiritual energy. Today we have made it a topic of our discussion. So let's talk about the spirituality. There are religious ways of being a spiritual person or gaining spirituality. There are non religious ways as well. And after all that, there are certain things which are common between the religious people and between the non religious people as well. So let's begin with the religious people. Once we are talking about the religious people, let's begin with the let's begin with the Christian faith, and what the Christian faith says about all that. It says that prayer, meditation, fasting, and sacraments like baptism and communion to connect with the God. So that is what the Christianity believe in all that. Mean prayer which is there in other religions as well. Meditation, learning to meditate regularly, and that is the second practice. The third practice there in the Christianity, that is about fasting, and then the fourth is that is the sacraments, and that is the baptism. And the baptism, either they dip a person in the water, immerse somebody in the water, or sprinkle water on the forehead, and then they say that this person has become totally sinless person, or has formally entered the Christianity. So that is what the Christians believe about the spirituality. Now, then we talk about the Buddhism. What the Buddhist people believe in the spirituality. They say that it is the meditation. They say it is the mindfulness, meditation, learning to meditate, and the mindfulness being learning to focus on the present moment without judgment. And if we talk about the technical definition of the mindfulness, it says that a state of mind achieved by consciously focusing one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations, but all that without any sort of judgment. Simply speaking, we need to learn to focus on the present moment. That is called mindfulness. Meditation, mindfulness, yoga, and chanting to achieve the inner peace and enlightenment. That is what the Buddhism believe in the spirituality. That is how they try to awaken the spirituality in the Buddhist people or in the Buddhist monks. Now the third is Hinduism. Let's talk about the Hinduism. Hinduism says that again it is the yoga, there is the meditation. Yoga on the one hand, meditation on the other hand. Then there is the puja. Puja is a Hindi word, and it says worship. Then there is a mantra. Mantra is recitation to unite with the divine, repeatedly saying the religious specific words repeatedly and loudly, repeatedly on the one hand, loudly on the other hand, so that they think that this way they are going to unite with the divine. Yoga, meditation, puja, mantra, recitation to unite with the divine. So that is what the Hinduism says about the spirituality. Now it is the Islam. Islam says the salah mean prayer, then it says the psalm which mean fasting. Still the Islam says zakah which mean charity, and then it is the hajj or the pilgrimage to submit to Allah. So that is what Islam says about the spirituality. Salah on the one hand, psalm on the other hand, zakah on the one hand, hajj on the other hand. So that is the Islamic spiritual practice. Now there is the Judaism. Judaism says prayer. Judaism says study of the Torah. Judaism says observance of the mitzvot, and that is commandment. Then the Judaism says it is the celebration of the holidays. Celebration of the holidays. Now, after all that, there is a Sikhism. Let's talk about the spiritual practices of the Sikhism. Sikhism says meditation. It they say prayer. Prayer on the one hand, meditation and service to others. They call it seva, and then to connect with the divine. The Sikhism says meditation is a spiritual practice in the Sikhism. Prayer is a spiritual practice in the Sikhism. Service to others, seva, which means seva in the Sikhism, and then it is connecting with the divine. Now, seventh and the last is Taoism. Let's talk about the spiritual practices in the Taoism. Taoism says it is the meditation, meditate, then it is the Qigong, and then it is living in harmony with nature. Meditation, Qigong, and living in harmony with nature to balance the body and mind. That is what the Taoism says. Meditation, Qigong, living in harmony with nature to balance the body and mind. So these are the seven major religions in the world, and their stance on the spirituality, their spiritual practices. Now there are non-religious spiritual practices as well. Non-religious. Once we talk non-religious, so there are several categories. The one category, they are the humanism. Those who are pursuing the humanism, these people say focus on human values. These people, those who are following, pursuing the humanism, they say focus on human values. They say focus on compassion. They say focus on the personal growth. So that is the humanism way of pursuing the spirituality. Now there is secularism. Secularism, but those people who are the secularists, those people who are following the secularism, they say it is the emphasis on reason. They say it is the emphasis on reason, emphasis on the science and the individual freedom that will awaken the spirituality in those people who are pursuing and following the secularism. Then thirdly, there is agnosticism. Those people who are agnostic, they people say it is the exploration of the unknown, exploration of the unknown, questioning and critical thinking. Those people who are agnostics, they are pursuing and following the agnosticism. They say it is the exploration of the unknown, questioning and critical thinking. Then it is the nature based reality. The nature based reality says that connection with the nature, connection with the nature, environmentalism and eco awareness. Connection with the nature, environmentalism, and eco awareness. So, that is what the nature based spirituality says. Now, it is the holistic practices. Holistic practices says focus on the physical, emotional, and mental well being. Holistic practices about the spirituality says focus on physical, emotional, and mental well being through practices like yoga, like meditation, and like energy healing. Lastly, it is the indigenous spiritualities. Indigenous spirituality says connection with the ancestral lands. Individual indigenous spirituality says connection with the ancestral lands, connection with the traditions, and connection with the cultural heritage does awaken the spirituality in you. Connection with the ancestral lands, connection with the ancestral traditions, and of course, cultural heritage will awaken the spirituality according to the indigenous spiritualities. Now, at the end of all that, there are some common spiritual practices which are common everywhere else, and these common spiritual practices are, seven in number. First of all, it is meditation, and meditation means quieting the mind and focusing on the present moment. Meditation number one, and it is quieting the mind and focusing on the present moment. Number two, it is the prayer. Prayer is communication with a higher power or the universe, or according to the Muslims, it is the law. It is prayer, communication with a higher power or the universe. Thirdly, it is the yoga. Yoga says physical postures, certain specific physical postures, breathing techniques, and the meditation. It is all about the yoga. The fourth common spiritual practices, gratitude practices, which says reflecting on and appreciating the good things in life. Reflecting on and appreciating the good things in life, or call it shifting your focus from what you lack to what you have, and developing an attitude of gratitude, being a grateful person even on the smallest of things, not ignore even the trivial thing, rather be grateful for that. Now the fifth common practice about spirituality is it is connect with the nature, connecting with the nature, spending time in the nature, appreciating the beauty, spending time in the nature, appreciating the beauty. It is called connect with the nature. And now the sixth is journaling. Journaling, that is also a common spiritual practice. It says reflecting on your thoughts, reflecting on your feelings, and reflecting on your experiences. Reflecting on your thoughts, reflecting on your feelings, and reflecting on your experiences. That is called journaling, and that too in a non judgmental way. Now, the seventh and the last is the mindfulness. The mindfulness is being present in the moment, fully engaged. Being present in the moment, fully engaged in the moment, that is called mindfulness. So that these are the seven common practices which are common everywhere else and which are non-controversial. And now remember, spiritual practices are personal and diverse as well. Spiritual practices are personal on the one hand, diverse on the other hand. The examples are just a starting point. These examples are just a starting point for exploration and for the purpose of growth. I think, as for the spirituality is concerned, we have talked well on the subject, and from every angle we have tried to see it. Now it's up to us that what the spiritual practice we prefer or we choose to adopt. That is all from me at the moment. Thank you very much.